So I've just finished reading the book Emil Zatopek Endurance, and yeah, I just wanted to go through some notes of the end of the book. Okay, so Gustav Hushchuk replaced Dubček as first minister in April 1969. I can't really pronounce this guy's names properly, unfortunately, because this is Czechoslovakia. Okay, he wants to replace the reverse liberalization. So yeah, I think there was a hope that the Czechoslovakia would become more liberal with under the communists, but I think the Russians came in and took over, from what I read. That's my understanding of it, or certainly try to control it, and yeah, so that seemed to be the end of all hope for liberalization. Okay, so Emil was sacked as Army athletics coach for illegal political activities. Yeah, so they had this thing called the 2,000 words. He didn't even read it, he just signed it. He didn't see it as that big a deal, but it was a big deal, so he's sort of seen as an outcast then, and yeah, that was like his crime, just signing a document he never read. So he was put on trial, yeah, so under the court or something. When Zatopek got home from Mexico, yeah, he went to he went to the 1968 Olympics in Mexico in the middle of all this, and yeah, he came back, so I don't know, probably got worse when he got back. So when Zatopek got home from Mexico, his movements were restricted, and he was banned from speaking to Westerners or journalists. Yeah, so they're really being strict here. I'm sure he doesn't like that, being monitored so closely, not being allowed, it wouldn't be nice really, would it? So he got expelled from the Communist Party and was sacked by the army in December 1969. Yeah, so obviously he's seen as an outcast for what he did, and he goes off looking for work then, and it doesn't go out too well for him. People are afraid to hire him because he had signed, he was looked down on by the communists and all that, so Zatopek is told he can't get a job anywhere in Prague. Yeah, so they say like the only ways you can get a job is outside of Prague. You'd be safe there, hopefully. So he tried to get a job. Someone told, yeah, they were too afraid. Already mentioned that. So next page. Okay, so he got a job in a mine with the geological survey team. He lived in a caravan. Yeah, so yeah, it wasn't exactly living a glamorous life, but that's how it ended up. So that's what politics did to him. So he came from being like a national hero to a national enemy, or an enemy of the state, let's say. So he dug holes and lifted 100-pound bags of concrete. Yeah, sounds fun. Or is it? I don't know. I wouldn't say it's very healthy working in a mine, though, to be honest. Say it would affect your health. Zatopek was seen as an enemy. Oh, I already mentioned that. He was always communist, but wanted communism to work. Yeah, so obviously they say throughout history, socialism never really worked. So really, true communists, you might say, aren't real communists, because communism just leads to people controlling everything and having everyone else suffer. So I don't know, it's like, what is real communism? I mean, what makes you a communist? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Don't know. STB monitor Toulouse. Oh yeah, Toulouse was a coach who got arrested by the STB years ago. For decades, and his wife could hear clicking sound on their phone line. So yeah, it was like they were monitoring him, but they didn't really see him as a serious threat. So there wasn't any serious trouble. I guess that's the thing, if you're seen as a threat, you're in trouble. If you're not seen as a threat, you're okay. Generally, that's from what I've learned from reading this. Okay, so works at the mine, tended to drink heavily and wanted to drink with a meal. Yeah, I think he got into a bad habit of alcoholism when he was working there. I don't know, maybe it was the misery, maybe it's just all there was to do around there. Like, if you wanted to socialise with people outside of work, if you wanted to talk to anyone outside of work, you just had to go out and drink or just sit around and talk, you didn't have much else to do, maybe, I don't know. This guy rang Emil, he could not get an answer, drove him to the hospital. Yeah, so yes, when he rang Emil, he realised he was drunk, so he had to bring him to the hospital. So he drank too much alcohol, living a life of alcohol and exile, yeah, and he had to be rushed to the hospital because he drank so much alcohol at that time. So, maybe those events sort of affected his health a bit. So, too much alcohol, working in a mine, I'm sure that would affect you anyway. So, Dana said Emil did not read the 2,000 words which he signed, and he didn't discuss it. Yeah, that's the thing, to him it was just something they wanted him to sign. He's, I was signing to keep you happy, but then, sure, that's what happened. So you should always read a contract or a document or anything like that before you sign it, no matter what anyone says. So Zatopek is happy outside of Prague. He decides to stop drinking and rarely comments on politics. Yeah, Yeah, so he's claims to be happy, so I don't know. Was he happy at first? I don't know. Was he, if he didn't seem to be that happy if he's drinking to that excess. But anyway, Zatopek went to this 1972 Olympics. They were in Munich. Though the Palestinian terrace track made it sombra, which is like a dark event. It was, I don't know, yeah, another controversial Olympics. Like I mentioned in my last video, the 1968 Olympics were pretty controversial. Here we have another controversial Olympics. You might say that's interesting, but really, if you're there, you probably wouldn't want a controversial Olympics in that way anyway, because there'd be fear spreading around the place. Zatopek was given a job for the CSTV documentation section for sport in the Republic. He didn't like it as there was not much to do. Yeah, I think that's obviously wasn't what he wanted. He's probably would have wanted to stay in the army, but obviously, he was sacked. He wasn't allowed in there for signing something he didn't even read. It was years before Zatopek was allowed to travel freely again. For his first trip while he was a free man, while he was allowed to travel where he liked again, was to Finland for a memorial race for Paavo Nurmi. Yeah, he was a Finnish runner back in the day. They retired in the early 1980s. Dana got a lower than she expected pension for the 2,000 words. Yeah, so it's like, that's the thing, you get a lot less than you wanted, and they're saying, yeah, but you signed the 2,000 words, that's all you get. That's what the communism way, but that's about to end now. They sold their house and moved to a small flat in Prague. People who signed the 2,000 words found it hard to get jobs. In 1989, I was reading about some other people, they really struggled there. They were seen as outcasts. It was not a good time, really, if you had signed that thing. It was like, it's just putting danger on yourself. Though it could have been worse, I'd say. Those people, from what I've read, there were tanks coming in, as I mentioned in my last video, into Prague. They're probably lucky they're still alive, even though their lives probably weren't what they wanted it to be at that stage. So it could have been a lot worse, in my opinion. So in 1999, the Velvet Revolution took place and communism collapsed. Yeah, that was communism collapse. I mean, Berlin Wall collapsed that year. It was really the end of the Cold War, so to speak. I think it ended that year as well. So the first free elections in 44 years took place. So, geez, when was that? So that would be like 1945. Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment section below. So in 1998, Havel gave Emil. I think Havel was like a student protester. He became president. He gave Emil the Order of the White Lion, the best the Czech can get. Yeah, so later stages of life, he's starting to get a little bit more respect because, he's not seen as the enemy of the state anymore. He's just seen as a victim of communism now, I'd say. In 19... Oh, I already read that. I already read that. Oh, no. In 1990, Zatopek got an apology from the defense minister for being thrown out of the army. Yeah, so... Yeah, at least... It's probably too late to really make a difference, but at least he sees now that the state at sea that it was wrong, and I guess it means something to him. So Vladimir Kutz died in these are some of the other athletes he had competed against. He died in 1975, aged 48. Vladimir Kutz, oh jeez, can't forget about him. I have notes on him. I think I made a video about him ages ago. Can't forget about him. He drank heavily, one string of 15 bottles of vodka in 3 days. I'm not sure how. I don't really drink vodka. I'm not sure what that is, but anyway, comment in the comment section below if you feel like 5 bottles of vodka a day is too much. Probably is. Kutz died from sleeping pills after fighting with his wife. Yeah, so it didn't work out well for him in the end. Gordon Perry was dropped for being late for one day. He didn't explain why, and he was dropped. So he decided to train the England cricket team ahead of the 1962 Ashes, and he said that they were an unfit pounchy, which means fat bunch of what's that word? Barflies. I'm not sure what that means, but anyway, so he obviously wasn't happy with the fitness levels of these cricketers. So Perry ended up working as a lumberjack. Actually, I don't know what a lumberjack is. Might be I assume it's with trees or something. Cutting down trees. Comment section below comment there if you think I'm wrong. I don't mind that. And I got bile cancer, so yeah, it didn't work out well for him either. It's like they're all dying young, they're all having horrible lives after that. Perry broke world records for covering 260,000 miles, but was hated. Yeah, he got no respect for what he did. It was like, you can do whatever you like, but we're going to hate you. The media are just going to give you abuse. No matter what you do, we're not going to leave you alone. So yeah, he's like the most unappreciated runner in history. That guy. He died in 1991, age 60. Okay. Jim Peters got cancer in 1992, but survived. Another one of his competitors. Chris Calloway died of cancer in 2014. A lot of cancer is going on. I don't know, was that from being out smoking doors or something? Was it working down the mine? Who knows? Zatopek had a stroke, pneumonia, and a heart attack by the time he died on the 21st of November 2000, age 78. So yeah, I feel like maybe working down the mine wasn't the best for him, you know. Who knows, maybe if it wasn't for that, he'd lived a bit longer. I don't know. Anyway, you can only guess. Mimon, he was a French guy, Alain Mimon. He ran into his 80s. He died in 2013, age 92. I respect that. He was one of those guys who said, "Oh, once I pass my peak, I give up. I only see running as work." He obviously enjoyed his running, which is good. I respect that. Okay, Runners World magazine voted him Zatopek the greatest runner of all time in 2013. So yeah, he's getting. I mean, to be honest, I don't think anybody has ever done the treble at the Olympics since that in 1952 when he won the 5K, the 10K, and the marathon. You know, that's one better than what Mo Farah's is. You know, I'd like to see Mo Farah someday. No, Mo Farah's not going to do that. Mo Farah will never win all three because this is last year on the track, unless he changes his mind. Okay, so that's the end of my video. I've just finished reading this book, Emil Zatopek. I plan to go to the library, get another book from the library based on running or something else, and just write notes on that, make videos on that. Okay, so as the Irish Fun Runner, do what you feels like, whether it be like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you another time.